When lockdown happened, it was the question posed in today's psalm that first put me in mind of exploring the Psalms every day. Psalm 137 famously came to public consciousness, of course, in the 1970s when the German pop group Boney M set it to music and released it to the public. Well, the psalm originally was written either during the exile of the Jews in Babylon, or more likely after the exile when the people had returned to the land and they were remembering their exile experience. Far from home and far from the now destroyed temple in Jerusalem, how could they sing the songs of Zion in their sadness? Was it that they were so far from home? Or perhaps, but more importantly, was why they were far from home. They understood that God was punishing the people for their failure to live according to the covenant. The words would have stuck in their throats to sing joyful songs to the Lord in the face of their unfaithfulness. Well, even whilst their captors teased them, they could not raise a song in their distress. And yet they would not forget the Lord. To forget Jerusalem, to forget their home and their God, well, that would be like forgetting how to use their right hand or to lose the ability to sing out. Even far from home, apart from the temple, God was with them, and they longed to glorify him. Psalm 137. By the rivers of Babylon we sat and wept when we remembered Zion. There on the poplars we hung our harps, for there our captors asked us for songs. Our tormentors demanded songs of joy. They said, "Sing us one of the songs of Zion." How can we sing the songs of the Lord while in a foreign land? If I forget you, Jerusalem, may my right hand forget its skill. May my tongue cling to the roof of my mouth if I do not remember you, if I do not consider Jerusalem my highest joy. Remember, Lord, what the Edomites did on the day Jerusalem fell. Tear it down, they cried, tear it down to its foundations. Daughter Babylon, doomed to destruction, happy is the one who repays you according to what you have done to us. Happy is the one who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks. The people could lament the destruction of Jerusalem and of the temple in the face of their own wrongdoing, but what of Babylon? What of the children of Babylon, their captors? Well, here things look a bit more troubling to our modern sensibilities, especially the final verse, which speaks of Babylonian babies dashed against rocks. What's going on here? Well, here is an invocation of the principle of an eye for an eye. And the image expressed is not out of step with warfare as the people would have known it. Not all conquered people were captured, and in a day when people had to compete for scarce resources, what would a victorious army have done with prisoners anyway? At that time, such a sentiment would not have been seen to be outlandish. But given that the psalm was likely written after the exile, and given that such things had not happened to the children of Babylon, well, why then mention it at all? Well, sometimes it is entirely appropriate to lament before God, to share with him our sufferings, and then after a cathartic complaint, simply leave things in God's hands. But vengeance is never in the plan of the psalmist. It is always left to God. For it is when we seek vengeance and act out of grievance that things begin to go awry. For then we are assuming a rightness of our own ideas and our own conduct apart from God. And lest we think ourselves and our day morally superior to the Jews in exile, consider this. In how many places around the world the children still live with the lethal legacy of modern warfare, whether that's landmines, unexploded ordnance, or depleted uranium bullets which poison the earth, including in Iraq, the home of ancient Babylon. Whenever we rely upon modern armies to defend our interests, with an acceptance of collateral damage in conflict, can we honestly say that we are any better? It is only when we remember the Lord and his ways that we find true perspective and insight for our living today. And it is in unfaithfulness that things go awry, and we find ourselves exiled from hope. A prayer. Loving Lord, teach us to lament the loss of fellowship with you because of our disobedience or because of events beyond our control. You know the truth of our hearts. Help us not to hide ourselves, that we leave all our concerns in your hands, all vengeance to you alone. And when, through hypocrisy and unfaithfulness, we dishonour you and forget your ways, remind us that even apart from our places of worship, you are still with us. So teach us songs to sing in all circumstances, and make your presence and your people our foremost joy. Amen.